would beat Canelo.
Could you give me a little insight as to why and how?
I'm just telling you, he'll beat him. You know what I'm saying? He got a great team of coaches. You know, he got everything around him to where he'll know he'll beat him.
Crawford's trainer, Bomac, has recently claimed that Terence will defeat Canelo. And he sounded quite serious. If this conflict breaks out, someone's reputation could be jeopardized. Even Crawford gave a tip that sent shockwaves through the boxing world. He stated, "I'm after him. That is it. I'm looking for all that he has. I'll take it." Those words were more than simply talk. They were a direct attack on Canelo's pride and everything he'd achieved. It is not only about winning a fight, it's about claiming the crown, glory, and honor. Crawford's voice was filled with hunger, as if he were an animal on the hunt. If these two get into the ring, it will not be a friendly boxing match. There will be a hunt, and when the hunter meets the winner, only one walks away with everything. Bomac has previously made bold forecasts, which came true. When Crawford faced Errol Spence, he said the same thing. And see what happened.
What about, was it like his length, his counter punching?
I can put that out there.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Just like I didn't put out there when he beat Spence. I just kept telling everybody he was going to beat him. And when he finally beat him, I tried to tell everybody. Nobody want to listen to me. Now y'all need to start listening to me.
He warned everyone once, then proved them wrong when the lights were at their brightest. Now he's ringing the same bell, but no one is paying attention. This isn't simply talk, it's a trend, a warning based on experience. If history repeats itself, Canelo may be going right into the same storm. And when Bomac talks, it is not just no's, it's a sign of what's to come. Bomac doubled down on something even more dangerous, a plan. He says they've identified Canelo's flaws and know just what to do.
But I don't think people doubt that he has the skill to beat a Canelo. It's the size and the strength and the power. That's what...
That don't mean shit. You can take all that shit away from a fighter. Size, strength, you can take all that away. Because, of course, he got holes in his game.
This isn't simply trust. It is calculated. They've been studying him, disassembling him piece by piece. When a trainer talks in this manner, it indicates that they see something that the rest of the world has yet to notice. Canelo has been nearly untouchable for years, but even giants have flaws. And if Crawford's crew has truly uncovered those flaws, this fight may change quickly. The hunter might already know when to attack. Even rising starlet Shakur Stevenson has weighed in with a controversial view. He noticed something in Crawford long before anyone dared to say it aloud.
Because I just knew, like, as far as in that weight class, Terence Crawford is like the greatest. So I just feel as though with Canelo's style and like the style of boxing that he got, I think and this is before Bivol did it, but I thought like Terence Crawford was the only guy who I felt as though could have beat Canelo with his style.
His words are important, not only as a fan, but also as a fellow elite boxer who studies styles. This was not mentioned in a hyped way. It was truthful, planned, and full of passion. Stevenson knew Crawford on the necessary tools before anybody else observed what happened with Bivol. And now that the conversations are heating up, his old words are starting to sound more prophetic. When brilliant minds in boxing predict the same result, it is no longer just a guess. It is a chance. But this wasn't the first time Shakur Stevenson backed Crawford over Canelo. He started phoning this manner before there was a meaningful discussion.
I ain't gonna lie, I've been putting it out since, I want to say, when he fought Sean Porter. Like back then, if you go watch, it's an interview out there. I had said I think that Terence Crawford would beat Canelo Alvarez right after he fought Sean Porter. So the idea, I've been thinking about it. I've been saying it before Bud even.
When Crawford faced Sean Porter, Shakur had already made up his mind. While most people were still skeptical, he was seeing the wider picture emerge. It wasn't a bandwagon attitude. It was based on skill, style, and feeling. Those old words sting much more now that the war is becoming more real. Sometimes the earliest opinions are the ones we should have listened to from the beginning. Shakur didn't only talk believing. He analyzed the bout from a stylistic angle, and what he pointed out could be exactly what gives Crawford the advantage.
I think Bud is a southpaw. I think that's the part that kind of that's underestimated about the fight. I think him being a southpaw makes it a little harder for Canelo. I think Canelo has some type of trouble with southpaw. When I watched him fight John Ryder.
Yep.
John Ryder, and John Ryder wasn't that good. It's just Canelo was fighting against a southpaw, and it made it a little bit harder than usual. But with the Madrimov fight, I just felt like Madrimov is a good fighter, and stylistically, he's a lot different than Canelo.
Being a southpaw is more than just a position. It is a challenge Canelo has faced before. Shocker's dissection shows how Crawford's technique could expose the flaws in Canelo's armor. Canelo has failed in the past, but now he is ready to capitalize. It's not simply about strength, it's all about angles, timing, and accuracy. And if style truly matters in battles, this matchup could be more dangerous than anyone expected. Even seasoned promoter Frank Warren couldn't ignore what was coming. He mentioned something that many people are beginning to understand. September will not be easy.
Well, he's got a big fight, hasn't he, in September, first of all. Yeah, and that's going to be a tough fight for him in April.
Warren's tone was not relaxed. It came with care and realism. He knows the fight game inside out. And when he says it's a tough one, he means it. This isn't all hype or expectation. It's a warning dressed up in experience. If Canelo's next opponent is Crawford, the test will be on a whole new level. And for a boxer like Canelo, this may be the defining moment in his career. Frank Warren didn't only discuss the issue. He questioned Canelo's present performance. He mentioned that the size disparity might not be as significant as people think.
I'll go with a bigger man. I should go with a bigger man, but their age, who knows? Crawford fights once a year. Canelo's roughly twice a year. Canelo's last fight, I wasn't too impressed with him for that fight. And Crawford, although the guy was a runner, Crawford's last fight, he had a real tough fight against the Eastern European.
His speech was full of doubt, not only about the opponent, but about Canelo himself. He brought out something that fans have started to notice. The sharpness might not be similar. Meanwhile, Crawford stays active, sharp, and dangerous. Legends slow down even slightly, allowing someone hungry to walk past. And if Frank's instincts are right, Crawford could be walking into a perfect storm. Mark Creel described it from a technical standpoint, and his words have depth. He stressed something that fans frequently overlook. Crawford's mind is equally dangerous as his fists.
I think it's entirely fair to judge him on his last performance. He was adjusting to size, he was adjusting to weight, but also he was fighting someone who's very, very long. Crawford's one of the most resourceful fighters I've ever seen. He can come at you from either side. He's a really high IQ. I think that he's thinking 2, 3, 4 steps ahead. Look, we'll see. It's a huge amount of weight to go up. I'm not quite sure what to compare it to, especially at this stage of his career. Ray Leonard.
This was not just praise. It was a dissection of what separates Crawford. Creel noticed that even when outmatched in stature, Crawford finds a way. That kind of combat IQ can change everything, especially against a powerful boxer like Canelo. Size may be a factor, but information, flexibility, and timing can change the game. And if anyone can gain weight while keeping dominance, it's the one who thinks for steps ahead. Mark Creel did not hold back. This time, he focused completely on Canelo. He answered a question that many people are scared to ask: which version of Canelo will appear?
Yeah, but I mean, Canelo's Canelo. What I'm more curious about is what Canelo comes out. I know how hungry Crawford is. I don't doubt Canelo's hunger, but I think he's gotten used to, opponents who aren't quite, what they were in the prime of his prime. And I also think he's gotten into the habit of throwing one shot at a time. For instance, with Kovalev, I thought that he was behind on points, but I also never thought that the fight was in doubt, and it was only a matter of time before he did what he did. I don't think you can get away with that in the same way with Terence Crawford.
Creel does not deny Canelo's greatness, but he wonders if the fire still burns the same. He noted tendencies that could cost him dearly against someone as clever and tenacious as Crawford. One-punch methods may have worked in the past, but this is a new battlefield today. Crawford does not wait to be worked out. He makes you pay for every second you spend. And if Canelo isn't at his best, this fight might be over before he knows it. Mark Creel may have stayed impartial, but his remarks suggested something more. Even without taking a side, he gave Crawford more credit than most people are ready to.
I think Crawford's got a better shot than people are giving him right now. I think that he can do more things. I'm not trying to dodge your question. Yeah. I don't like to give predictions because I got to go into the fight. Yeah. Being down the middle, so I don't want to placate either.
He did not make a prediction, but he did not need to. His tone communicated plenty. Creel sees the levels in Crawford's game, the tools that make him a legitimate threat. This was more than just polite remark. Crawford brings quiet calm. While many remain skeptical, Creel's modest backing presents a totally different picture. And when someone so close to the conflict speaks in this way, it's time to pay heed. Mark Creel went a step further, focusing the spotlight and pressure squarely on Canelo, questioning not only the matchup but also the choices that led to it.
I think that Crawford can do an awful lot of stuff, and I'm trying to figure out the last time the Canelo fought a guy who was this good. Forget about the weight. And I think that there's a lot of pressure on Canelo for not, to be frank, for not having fought Benavidez before. It's like, okay, you got a lighter guy, you got a smaller guy. What do you do with him now? That's a lot on him.
It wasn't simply about skills anymore. It became a matter of heritage and expectation. Creel hinted that Canelo might be under greater pressure than ever, especially because Benavidez, still waiting. He now faces a smaller, faster, and smarter opponent, leaving no room for excuses. Crawford is not just a name, he's the type of combatant that shows caution, and if Canelo does not rise to the moment, the criticism may land harder than any blow in the ring. Creel then exposed one of Crawford's most undervalued strengths. It was short but strong, and it captures everything that makes Bud so dangerous. He said, "He's the best switch hitter right now, fighting effectively from two stances is unusual, but Crawford excels at it. It's not simply a flash, it's a weapon that keeps foes guessing and off balance." Against someone like Canelo, uncertainty may be the ultimate equalizer. Styles win battles, and Crawford's switch hitting gives him more tools than most fighters have. In a matchup this big, every edge counts, and Crawford may have more than people know. Even actor and fight fan Chuck Zito jumped in, bringing up something everyone has been debating: size. His approach, however, struck a balance between respect for both combatants and a recognition of what makes this fight special.
Well, don't forget, Crawford came up, I think, 2 weight classes.
Yeah, well, yeah, he started at 135. Yeah,
Canelo is, that's his weight class.
He's naturally.
But you know what? I got to say that Canelo, every time I see him, his fights get better and better. Even as he gets older, his fights are better and better. It's going to be a great fight because Crawford's a great fighter.
Yeah.
So may the best man.
Zito did not disregard the weight gap. He admitted it as a real problem, but he also noted Canelo's ongoing improvement. Despite his age and mileage, he gave Crawford with flowers, describing him as a true sports enthusiast. This isn't simply about power versus speed, it is greatness versus greatness. With both guys still evolving, this matchup has the potential to be an all-time classic. Chuck Zito then expressed a personal gut feeling that many fans may quietly share. Despite his choice, he kept a realistic assessment of both combatants' abilities.
I have a feeling Canelo's going to pull it out.
Yeah?
But like I said, Crawford's a great fighter. You can't take anything from him. So for me, they're both great. May the best man win.
Zito is leaning toward Canelo, but not with full conviction. And this says a lot. He knows Crawford is not the sort to be dismissed, not even for a moment. This is not an obvious preferred option. It's a close call with skill on both sides. That's what makes this fight so exciting. Anything is possible, and both guys have the chance to win. When even fans of one side admit it's too close to call, you know this is a true mega fight. Keith Cohn stepped in with a different viewpoint. One that seems more spiritual than political. He didn't only choose Crawford, and he felt a movement in the sport itself.
Yeah, I'm a rock with Terrence, simply because I really believe in his ability. Canelo, I understand the game, and I understand, you got waves. Canelo had to wait for a long time, and I feel like now it's kind like somebody else's turn, you know.
Yeah.
Especially with, you know, Turkey Al-Shidi, you know, making this connection. I feel like it's about to be a new wave. I also feel like it's kind of it's getting to the point where it's the end of their both of their careers, you know.
To him, this fight is about more than simply skill. It's all about time, energy, and momentum. He thinks Crawford's time has come as the torch progressively passes. It's not a knock on Canelo, but rather an acceptance that every king must face a new age. Both fighters appear to be nearing the end of their careers, and this bout has the potential to decide how they will be remembered. And if Keith's intuition is right, we could be witnessing the beginning of a new era in boxing history. But just when you think you've heard everything, Keith says something that hints at a bigger picture. His method offers a twist. He feels as if he is seeing a novel unfold in chapters rather than a single battle.
38, I believe.
Exactly. So I feel as though, you know, this fight, you know, I see it going a number of different ways. If it's a close fight, I see it being like a Triple G type fight where it got, you know, 2 fights, 3 fights, you know, like a big, like little rivalry going almost. But I'm rocking with Terrence. I want him to win. I feel like he got the abilities to win, and I feel like it's like the stamping on his legacy right here, you know, this fight.
What if this isn't simply one big clash, but the beginning of a history trilogy? Keith's statements hint that the rivalry will not be resolved overnight. It grows. With Crawford's reputation on the line, the stakes are considerably higher. This could be the moment that pushes him into boxing's Hall of Fame. Alternatively, it could be the spark that starts a famous back-and-forth war. Keith Cohn, one of boxing's keen thinkers, gave a strategic insight into Crawford's potential game plan. His statements hinted at how important the early rounds could be in determining the general outcome of the fight.
I just tell him first 6 rounds win, you know, just win. And after the first 6, you know, we gonna see the adjustments if we could just break them off, you know, because you never know what the opponent might come, you know. People may see a killer in Canelo where Terrence might have to box. Or we may see a slower Canelo from all the wars and the fights, you know, so he may be much slower. You know, feet may not be as quick, might not match Terrence's, so we don't know, you know. So I'll tell him first 6 rounds just win, you know, and after that we'll see how, you know, how we go on from here.
This thinking shows how unpredictable this conflict truly is. Will Canelo charge out with aggressive power, or will the wear and tear of past encounters slow him down? If Crawford can control the early rounds, the pendulum might turn dangerously in his favor. However, one false move in the second half may cause everything to crash. This is the type of chess fight that makes the showdown between 2 champions so exciting. Eddie Chambers added another layer to the conversation, pointing out how weight dynamics could provide Crawford a significant advantage. His take highlights a physical metamorphosis that many fans may have missed.
Well, when you get a guy who's been 147 pounds, actually lower than that, 135 up to, I think, now all the way up to this weight, you got to think that they sweated down to almost nothing. Now they have the ability to lift comfortably, to eat comfortably. He doesn't have to like drop weight, a certain amount of weight at a certain amount of time. Not really, anyway. And he can literally almost fight at his walk around. So he's gonna be a little more muscled up than ever before.
This Crawford is more than just skilled. He's bigger, healthier, and more dangerous than ever. He's no longer exhausted from harsh weight cuts, and he's walking into the fight with genuine force behind every move. Canelo may be the naturally bigger man, but a fully fueled Crawford changes the equation. The fight might become a war of speed versus strength or precision versus power, which is what makes this matchup so exciting. We are watching 2 evolved types of legends collide. Just when you think you've heard it all, Eddie Chambers offers a new view, one that stresses Crawford's physical and mental peak. His words throw fuel to the flames, implying that this could be the most dangerous form of Crawford we've seen.
I think his diet's the best it's ever been, probably. He's probably stronger than he's ever been. He's focused more than he's ever been in his entire career, because this is the biggest fight he had. So I think he's gonna look his best. I think he's gonna do his best. I think it's going to be the best performance he could put on. I just don't know if he's going to be able to keep Canelo.
That's a big charge, but one that will chill Canelo fans. If Crawford performs at his peak, this bout has the ability to defy expectations. It is no longer only about skill. It's about who comes out as the hungrier, sharper, and more complete fighter. With everything on the line, we might see a fight that tests both men to their utmost. One mistake, one opening, and the tide can change in an instant. And just when the boxing world thought the topic couldn't get any more heated, a true icon stepped in. Manny Pacquiao gives his views, and it's the type of wisdom that could tip the scales.
Good fight. Canelo has advantage because Crawford moving up, but my advice to Crawford is like maintain the speed, improve the speed, and improve the strength. Because it's hard to go up in high weight and maintain your speed. So speed is the key. Like he should focus on speed, footwork, and improve the power.
Pacquiao talks, and the world listens. He sees Canelo's strengths while throwing a lifeline of advice to Crawford. If Bud takes that advice seriously, he has the potential to counter Canelo's power with precision and timing. This fight isn't all about brute force. It's all about tactics, speed, and survival. Every round might be a chess match with knockout points. At the end of the day, Canelo versus Crawford is not just a fight. It's a confrontation of styles, traditions, and pure hunger. Canelo's power and experience meet Crawford's speed and technique. Both boxes have something to show, and the stakes cannot be higher. With experts and luminaries weighing in, this fight feels more like a historical event than just another boxing match. So, what do you think? Will Crawford's quickness and technical skill be sufficient to counter Canelo's pressure and power, or will Canelo's strength and experience prove too much for Bud to handle? Do you agree with Manny Pacquiao's suggestion, or do you think Crawford should approach the bout differently? Please share your thoughts in the comments below. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel and see more movies like this. Additional boxing-related analysis, forecasts, and breakdowns.